Hey guys, welcome back to my virtual dog training playlist. And yeah, yet another cool segment. I'm going to keep going with these things. I'm getting pretty good feedback from everyone. And I think everyone likes the casual conversation and the learning that takes place all along when I do these virtual consults. And this consult wasn't specifically about dog training per se. This was more about preparing a home. They're bringing in another dog. They're adopting a second dog, and it's a female. So they want to make sure that they do the introductions properly and how we can prepare them, their dog, upon the new dog's arrival. And, there's two females that we're trying to integrate here. So, we want to try to do things perfectly to avoid any kind of same-sex conflict. So we kind of jump around a little bit, but we have a good time and we offer some valuable information. So hopefully you enjoyed this video like the others, and if you do, don't forget, click that like button and take a peek around my channel too. If you like what you see, consider subscribing to my channel and click that bell so you get notified when I upload new content as well. So I guess Tony just wanted to have a little call just because of, I guess, adopting out same-sex same-sex pit bull, specifically a female, and
Yeah.
female conflict, etc.
Sure.
She was kind of asking me, and I was offering her pretty general responses because I don't know her dog and I don't know your dog, but
Right.
just kind of just so everybody's prepared and we're all on the same page, and if I can offer any suggestions. So
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yes.
I know Tony's dog is a 1-year-old puppy. Your girl is what, 6 or 7? Or?
About
yeah.
that. She's a rescue, so we don't know exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tony had asked me, and I have a little rescue too, and one of my policies forever has been to not adopt out same-sex dogs. Now, my dogs are all pit bulls. Tony does all breeds, and it's not because I'm biased against pit bulls. Obviously, I love them, right?
Yeah.
But just to put the dogs in a good position to succeed. And generally speaking, with all breeds, when you add dogs to your family or pack, whichever word you prefer to use, the formula, right, generally speaking, is opposite sex of the youngest dog, right? So if you have a male and a female, male being 8 and a female being 5, you would add a younger male, right? And vice versa if it's female. When you have a single dog, you add opposite sex, usually younger, right? Unless it's a female, you can go younger male or older male. It usually doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, it's usually an opposite sex thing, just to avoid same-sex conflict. And that's just my rule of thumb. And like I told Tony, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. And, she told me your dog prefers females.
Yes.
Right. And it's usually the complete opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we don't know what actually happened with her. We adopted her. She had 3 to 4 years, and she had babies before. So I think she was abused in a way, like as a breeder. Like she was like breeding a bunch of babies, and I think that's why she got a little bit of trauma. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that, Jeff. Do you have any experience with pit bulls who are used as breeder dogs and then sort of
breeders, bait dogs, fighters, everything?
Yeah. So I mean, do you find there any exception to that rule you just stated with dogs that were used for breeding versus other pit bulls? And
no, it's more of an individual dog thing. And like I said, it was just a general policy that my rescue implements. And again, I told Tony there's exceptions to every rule. But usually when that happens, and I'm a trainer too, right? So I'm there assessing the dogs in person, right? So it's a little easier for me to pull the trigger as opposed to, talking to Tony in New Jersey and you guys wherever you are about 2 dogs I don't know,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a little tough.
The answer. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll do my best.
I would say, I mean, from our perspective, just having had Harley for about 3 years now, obviously she's a mature female. She's been exposed to a variety of dogs. My mom had an older female German Shepherd that was a bit larger than Harley. My brother has a mixed breed that they got from a rescue, like some sort of like a hound or whatever. Yeah, about a year old. My brother had a older dash hound. So again, much smaller than Harley. So, sizes and genders have been mixed. I would say that the one thing that we've seen consistently was that Harley, for whatever reason, is definitely more standoffish and maybe even
defensive
against a male dog for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that could be overbreeding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I mean, just because a female dog is viable, they don't always allow the male to mount.
Right.
And if they're put into a rape stand, you're familiar with rape stands, you know, where the female can't defend herself. She can't sit to prevent the breeding. So those things could certainly cause that, you know, that opposite sex anxiety with her. So that would certainly make sense if she was overbred.
And then the other side to it that we've seen is, so these other dogs that are female, she might be a little slow to warm up to them. But like just last weekend, for example, my brother brought his 1-year-old mixed breed over, and Harley was extremely, she had met her a couple of times before, so she was more familiar with the dog already. And they were legitimately playing actually at one point right around the yard, chasing it, you know, very playful. So I think that was actually one of the things that kind of pushed us over the edge, where we had held back on getting a second dog because we weren't 100% sure. And after we saw, you know, consistently that once she gets to know a dog, she does well.
Yeah.
Right.
There was another dog that we lived with. It was a black lab, a female black lab. And again, one of those scenarios where Harley got to know the dog, and she was actually cuddling. I had a photo at one point of them cuddling on the couch together, which I don't think has ever or would probably ever happen with a male dog. So I don't know if she's an exception to the rule. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I definitely trust your opinion.
It's not a rule. It was just my rule. Like it's not like a right or wrong thing. It's just how I placed dogs.
Absolutely.
It was more a rescue thing than a behavior thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Gotcha.
And you know, keep in mind too, I always had the opportunity to do meet and greets in person.
Sure.
So we don't have that opportunity here, but we do have information, right? We know that your dog has proven track record, and we know Tony's dog has proven interactions with dogs, right? Sometimes we don't even have that when we're placing dogs. We're like, well, I mean, we could try it, you know. And then and then you also have an immature dog, which is good, right? The newcomer is a young puppy, so the chances of success are higher. And you know, obviously, I'm going to suggest some rules to follow.
Absolutely.
You know, before we hang up, just to make sure that the meet and greet goes well, the intake, if you will. Tony, do you want to chime in at all, or before I start giving some suggestions?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I think the main thing is I was hoping that with you helping give some direction and ground rules with the introduction. I know I shared with you a little bit of what my experience is when I foster and I bring dogs in. But I think Travis and Anna are they want to make sure they do it right, and we try to make this as successful as possible.
Yes.
So that's the reason for this. And then once everybody talks it out, if they're still comfortable, I'm willing to move forward with this.
Okay. So my first line of defense, for lack of a better phrase, working with any dog and any behavior, is to walk. Okay. And it doesn't matter what dog, what age. Obviously, if it's an old geriatric dog, I'm not going to run them 6 miles. So the first thing you want to do is, you know, again, we're speaking as if she's coming to you, so keep that in mind. So I don't know how the transport or anything will work, but ideally, you get them to meet in a neutral place. Okay. Now, a neutral place doesn't mean down the block. It doesn't. What's your dog's name?
Harley.
Harley?
Yep.
Okay. It doesn't mean the park that Harley goes to all the time, because that's not neutral. It means clearly the younger dog, it will be the first time she's wherever you bring her, right? So it's got to be somewhere Harley's never been. That would be and these are all ideals, right? That would be the ideal situation. And I mean, you don't need to be an expert in reading body language. You know your dog. So you probably have that intuition about your own dog, how she normally reacts historically around other dogs. The puppy's going to be coming off of a transport, right, Tony?
Well, what's going to happen is the puppy's in New Jersey now. I'm going to meet someone in Connecticut, and then the volunteer is going to bridge some of the gap between Travis and Anna and I, and meet them a little bit further north. So it's a private volunteer.
Perfect. Good. Okay. Because then that eliminates the stress of 27 dogs in a van driving for 14 hours. All right. All right. So it'll be a transport though. So the best thing to do would be to maybe, obviously you're both going to meet the transport somewhere, right? Don't bring Harley.
Right.
Okay.
Leave Harley home, get the puppy. And then, you know, obviously when you get home, would you drive somewhere or would you walk
Yeah.
somewhere to get to
We'll
bring to
drive
walk?
somewhere.
Yeah, I would say if we're looking for a neutral area, Anna could drop me off. I'll grab Harley and put her in the other car, and then we'll drive the two
I was going to
cars.
ask if you had two vehicles, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that would be the best way to do it. And so as whoever drops who off, drop off and go. So Harley doesn't even see your car or the other dog.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then you're going to just meet at the park, assess the situation, right? And walk. Okay. If you want to have a brief introduction to see how they do, that's fine. But the best thing to do is get them walking in the same direction. Okay.
Gotcha.
And granted, by that time, you might be like, they're going to be fine. We know they're going to be fine. Still do this. Okay. Don't take it for granted that the initial went well, right? And ideally, how we walk dogs initially when we're trying to get them solidified and together on a walk as a unit, we go dog, person, person, dog. So there's a 2-person buffer between each dog, right? And the purpose is to just walk, okay? Especially because the puppy's just coming off transport. You know, so she might be a little piss and vinegar. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, but you basically want to walk. There's no time limit, but just kind of assess how long before they start settling into the walk. Once you feel that, mostly the puppy, your dog's going to be a little more relaxed. The puppy's going to be a little more pent up. Right? Once you feel they settled on the walk, arbitrary figure, 20 minutes, right? If you want to stop and kind of let an interaction occur, that's totally fine. And then walk again and then get back in your cars. Or actually you could switch handlers.
Okay.
And walk back to different handlers.
Right.
And then get back to the house. You know, I would reassess in the front of your house when they get out of the car. If you have to walk a couple of houses down or a couple of houses back just to kind of do it again for your own peace of mind, that's fine. And you keep in mind, by this time, you're probably going to be like, okay, this is going well, right? That's to be expected. Again, don't take it for granted because we want to make sure we're doing everything to the best of our ability to put them in a position.
Quick question in between this,
Yes.
Jeff. Should they have the 2 dogs together in the car then going?
They're gonna have 2 separate cars.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 separate cars.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So you follow each other home, get out of the cars, and the dogs will see each other again. And again, a little walk if you have to, a little interaction on the front lawn if you want. And then you want to go in the house. Harley goes first. Puppy goes second. And then kind of assess once you're in your house. I don't know if you walk into your living room or like a family room or something. So whatever the biggest room is, that's where you want to go. So this way you both could sit down, have them both on the leash. The puppy's going to be a little excited, right? And that's to be expected, new environment. You want to let them settle down again. And if they're interacting, that's fine. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust what you're seeing. They're both on leash. Don't make sure you're relaxed. Don't feel stressed or pent up or anything, because I mean, the worst case scenario is there's a little right, but that's it. They're on leash. Nothing's going to happen, right? So one thing you don't want to have happen though is if my fists are the dogs, you don't want the leashes to cross, because tension causes tension. Does that make sense? So if you're, when you're introducing them either at the park, during their brief interactions, if my hands are the dogs and my elbows are you guys, you have them introduced in a circular fashion. So the leashes can never get tangled, and it also emulates the natural circular motion of how dogs naturally interact. Dogs don't say hello to each other like this. It's almost like a dance. Dogs go up to each other. There's a lot of posturing, even if it's happy posturing, right? Posturing isn't bad. It's just communication. So keep the position of your leashes in the forefront of your mind as well. And then once you're in the house, you're going to crate train the puppy, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Once they settle down, I would say put the puppy in the crate. Give her some water. She might want to eat or whatever. Let her settle down. Make sure there's no food in her crate. And then at some point, let Harley go up to the crate. Right, because I'm sure Harley's going to be curious, and in all likelihood, they'll just sniff each other. And then, you know, after a little while, let the puppy kind of settle down in the crate so she knows that's part of her life, right? Because the crate is going to be part of her life. Incidentally, I mean, I have other videos I could share with you on like crating and things like that if you need that.
Perfect.
So after she settles down in the crate for a little while, you know, before I go into that, what time of day are we talking as far as when this transport would occur, do you think?
Tony, I mean, do you know have any specific
You
time
see,
when
you see what your schedule will be, and I'll make that happen.
Okay, we plan leaving, I think, early in the morning.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, we could be into, you know, whatever part of Mass that we need to, or
think it's
even,
gonna be
you know,
hard.
whatever part we need to be
Yeah.
in, but before noon for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking by the time you guys get all this done, it'll still be about, let's say, 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, if
Yes.
not earlier.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll still have daylight at our disposal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So, all right, so then you can let them settle down again. Then you leash Harley, take the puppy out of the crate and leash her, go for another quick walk. You have a yard?
Yep.
Yeah.
Big yard.
Quick walk, nothing long, right through the house, right into the yard on leash.
Okay.
A little walk around the yard, right?
Right.
Kind of see how they react. You could let them interact a little more now. The puppy, by this time, again, this is a 1-year-old puppy, and I'm assuming a fairly stable, mature adult female, right?
Yeah.
So by this time, the puppy should be giving your dog a lot of head tilts. A lot of this stuff should be going on with the puppy. That's like, oh, okay, yeah, hey, how you doing? That's very friendly gesture, okay?
Okay.
Clear things to keep an eye out for. Mounting,
Right.
stiff body posture,
Yes.
things along those lines. But generally, especially pit puppies, males or females, they're usually pretty wriggly. And again, based on I know about these 2 dogs, the puppy should show some deference with those head tilts and the real wiggly puppy stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
Interaction still on leash occur, okay?
Okay.
And that's the extent of your first day is on leash.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
We don't want to let them rip yet, right? So fast forward to the following day, your morning routine.
Second,
Yeah.
on the first day, don't drop the leash at all and let them interact with a leash dangling.
Okay.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we only have a half a day.
I said that, so cross that off. A lot of times that's what I've done, but I would defer to you for sure.
Well, and you know, keep in mind, let's say I'm at your house when the puppy comes home, right? Yeah, those leashes are probably off in a half hour. I'm giving virtual advice about 2 dogs I don't know, so we're just trying to make sure that we do things slowly. And you know, that's again, it's all about, you know, my limited information that I have in my.
I mean, I was just kind of right. No, I agree. That's fine.
Right. It's a half a day, if that. It's a few hours, really.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And the puppy's going to be exhausted, even though it's a private transport. She's going from person to person to person, and then new people and a freaking dog. What the hell just happened? You know. So normally I'll go even slower than this. So we're actually going quite quickly. So following morning, wake up, as a matter of fact, leash Harley, leash the puppy, go for a little walk. Same thing, little walk through the house, in the yard, walk around, then kind of see how it goes. The first leash that you drop is Harley's.
Yes.
Okay. We drop Harley's leash, and then we kind of you could probably, at this point, you're probably going to be like, they're going to be fine. What the hell is Jeff talking about? Right? And that's fine. If I'm completely wrong about going this slow, that's awesome. That's what we want. I want to be wrong. All kidding aside. So we drop Harley's leash, see how it goes. And then if you're going to unhook the leash, I would say unhook Harley's leash, because you want the puppy on leash. And then at some point, again, it might not be during this morning session. It might be after breakfast, maybe later in the morning. You do another one of these because you might feel like you just want one more walk.
Yes.
You know, just to make yourselves feel a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're back out in the yard. Harley's off leash now. They're interacting. You're like, okay, it's fine. Just drop the puppy's leash. You don't want both leashes on the dogs because both leashes could get tangled when they're interacting with each other. And no matter how friendly dogs are, if those leashes get, again, tension causes tension. So,
Yeah.
So you would drop, Harley would be off leash at some point. You would drop the puppy's leash and just kind of assess and monitor. One thing we don't want to do, and I only say this because, unless you guys have a lot of experience reading dog body language, don't talk them through stuff. It's okay. Say it.
Okay.
If they're shifting and communicate, because remember, dogs shift and communicate their body language from second to second.
Right.
Yeah.
If you inadvertently validate a particular posture in Harley, that could impact the communication.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So your
Sorry.
video's gone, but we still, there you are.
There we go. My bad.
Yeah.
No, totally tracking on that. Yeah, we'll let them decide what they think of each other.
So, after that, then, obviously the next step would be inside the house, because inside is different from outside. So inside the house, and when we drop the leashes, right? First of all, do you have toys and stuff laying around your house?
We definitely won't when they're coming over. Food, toys, everything will go away. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. It's not to say that they may not have any issues with resources, right, and resource conflict, but we want to eliminate those from the equation initially. Right. Yep. It's not to say that 3 weeks from now they're both picking up a rope and playing tug with each other, right? Certainly could be that would be great if that's how quickly their relationship develops. So. But eliminate all resource and make sure you get down on all fours and look at your house from the dog's point of view. You'd be surprised how many Kongs I find under my couch. I'm like, shit, there it is.
Believe me, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's great. That and the 18 universal remote controls that I bought. No. But you get the idea. It sounds goofy, but you need to look at the world from their point of view.
Especially with a young dog, like the level of energy is like double of Harley's, so we got to be aware of that.
Yeah, and the puppies especially, everything goes in their mouths just because they don't have hands. Right?
Like
right. And again, it's all about assessing, and obviously I'll give you guys my phone number too if you have any questions along the way. If you get any video of the dogs and you want me to take a look at video of them interacting, that would be helpful.
That would be awesome.
The only thing is if you hold the phone like this, you are going to give me a partial sentence. I won't be able to read the entire sentence because I can't see both dogs' entire bodies. So hold the phone horizontally.
Okay.
This way, so it takes, it's a larger video file, so you might have to send it to me through Google Drive or Dropbox or something. But video is always helpful for me, again, head to tail, so I can see the complete picture.
Definitely.
We'll kind of see how it goes. See how the first couple of days goes, and if you have any questions, and then the main thing is going forward with crate training and crate management. I don't know how Tony feels. I'm a huge proponent of crate training, especially with young dogs, especially with rescues. You need to treat her like she's an 8-week-old puppy, right? Never out unsupervised. You almost want to overutilize the crate initially. Too much freedom too soon leads to decisions, and those decisions may not align with your expectations.
Absolutely.
And obviously supervision also gives us opportunities. If there's any kind of odd communication, we're there to see it, right? Again, even if I went to your house and let's say I had a training session with you and Harley, you still would know Harley better than I do, because she's your dog, right? I know an hour. If we had an hour training session, I know Harley by the hour, right? You know her quirks. You know when she's uncomfortable. You know when she's stressed. You know when she's happy. You know when you know what I mean? So trust that intuition aspect of knowing your own dog. So
definitely.
And you can't feel bad that the puppy's in the crate and Harley is not, because that's just the rule, right? The puppy will earn her freedom as time goes on. But limited freedom initially.
Yeah, we're not afraid of crating.
Yeah, no,
we're pro crating.
Yeah, and she's going to be sleeping in there. She's going to be eating in there.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, her, where she's in a foster home now, Tony.
She is, yes.
Is it a free roam or is it a crate and rotate?
You know what? They're home all the time. It's 2 adults. The mother and father live with older people, and the dog right now is wonderful with the mother and father, like in their 70s. She
Really?
sleeps in the bed.
So no other dogs in the house?
She and they don't go. They're home all the time. They haven't gone there, so she's not crated. I don't know how she's going to do. If you have problems, Jeff will help us with, how you need to go with that.
Yeah. And I'll send a, what's that?
They do have another dog, a Shiba Inu, who is very bossy, very bossy. And they told me that the daughter was playing in the yard with Ball. And now this is like the first 3 days the dog was there and playing ball. 2 dogs, 1 ball. Chase the ball. And when they got to the ball, the other dog started to go after Sophie. And she sort of defended herself, but didn't. She kind of
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's great because so she's in a home with a bunch of people and another dog. So her transition will be okay. The crate, we might have to work through some quirks. I'll send you my crate training video.
Okay.
It's long. It was a Facebook Live I did. It's like an hour, but I covered a lot of crap. But I'll send you the link to that. But so it's great. So I don't have to sell you on crating. So feed the puppy in the crate, obviously.
Okay.
So Sophie has her own food space for now.
Yep.
Okay.
Tony, you were going to say something?
I would want to leave her out for quite some time. Like Jeff said, she has to earn that. But then the other thing is when they're alone together and you're not there, I think I'd feel more comfortable with Sophie being crated anyway, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime. That's why I said if they're ever unsupervised, the puppy's got to be in the crate.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Jeff, just to clarify one thing. So when we're not here, we'll crate the puppy. Should we even allow Harley to have access to the room that the puppy will be created in? I'm going to say no, but I wanted to make sure we were tracking.
Not now.
Right. Yeah. So they won't even be able to see each other or be around each other.
Everything's just, it's either for right now or not now, right? Generally speaking, right?
Definitely.
And it's, let's say they just absolutely love each other and Harley has access to that room and the puppy busts out of the crate. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want that.
We don't know what the puppy's like when no people are around.
Right.
So do you like your furniture? Okay. So, and I'm telling you, if that ever happened, chances are how you're describing Harley, I don't think Harley would reprimand her. She might join in.
I actually have the same feeling.
Yes. The black lab taught her how to bark to the mailman. She never barked at the mailman before. And the black lab starts to bark in the mailman and now she hates the mailman. Like why?
I tell all my clients the same thing when they're getting a second dog. They're like, well, maybe the older dog will teach the younger dog stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, they will. Just be careful what they're learning.
I know.
Awesome.
So let's just the first few days it's a lot of assessment. It's a lot of deliberate encounters. And again, your intuition is going to dictate how this unfolds.
Yeah.
So and again, I'm obviously Tony's here. I'm here for you guys if you need anything. And even if you know what, get me video anyway.
Yeah,
sure,
we will.
Yeah, just get me video just so I can see them interact.
Yeah.
Why wait till we're unsure about something? Let's just look at the video. So and when in doubt, walk. And don't worry about utilizing the crate. Just make sure that don't ever let Sophie in the Harley and Sophie's crate, right?
Yeah, no.
the crate is for Sophie, right? Harley, if Harley has a bed for now, the bed is just for Harley until such time, you know, maybe again, let's fast forward that you might have 2 beds and they flip flop and they share, or they sleep on top of each other. Like, these are all the things that I'm sure we all have visions in our head, right? Of them cuddling together, right? I mean, that would be wonderful. So, but yeah, so, I mean, I think as far as initial things go, that's really all I wanted to offer.
Yes.
So.
Well, Jeff, I really appreciate your insight, man. You know, you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. So anything you have to offer us to share, that's huge. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem at all. Tony, do you have anything else to add?
How long after they have the dogs would you recommend they get back with you, just to kind of go over maybe what's going on, and because you know that we'll support that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, well, we just talked about they're going to get me video anyway from the onset. So that'll give me a lot of information, and it might just be like, let's say they send me a Google Drive or a Dropbox to my email. Like, I might just, my reply just might be like, good to go. Like, and then we'll just kind of see how it goes. And, maybe we reconnect after a couple of weeks, whether we need to or not, just to go over, because you might have like training questions.
Yes.
Right.
She won't listen. She's flying around the house. She's jumping on the couch. She's not sitting. Like, we can certainly address that stuff. This is more about the intro. But incidentally, I don't know how you guys want to have your household run. And I can just tell you how my wife and I run our household, just because that's our preference. But inside the house, it's always calm.
Yes.
You have a yard, right?
Yeah, huge.
So obviously I can't tell you how to run your house. I strongly suggest inside is calm.
Yes.
Yeah,
outside is for play.
Yeah.
Right. So because it's, you don't want, 120 pounds of dog flying around the living room. Right. And also any kind of physical escalation or escalation in energy, it does open the door for other things to escalate. Right. And I mean, I can't tell you how many, Tony probably has experienced it too in rescue, right? How many times, the dogs are fine in the yard, but they're not in the house. That happens a lot, and not same sex, opposite sex, different dogs of different ages, different breeds, everything, right? So again, at least initially, right? Now, fast forward, we might be having a different conversation and everything's fine. But initially, inside calm, outside, woo!
I like that.
So I guess, I'll, as soon as you get some video, however you guys proceed, if this works out, get me initial video if you can. And ideally you have someone that could, if there's a third person taking video, that would be the most ideal, because then you two could focus on handling. I would say if it's just you two and it's your first walk, don't worry about the video. Focus on the dogs. But yeah, any little clips you can get me that would give me some information, and then I can offer a commentary.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll do. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody?
Okay.
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys feel okay? You ready for this?
Yeah, I feel very confident. Definitely feel like we have a plan, at least for the first 3+ days that we get them, and then like you said, we'll kind of reevaluate and see what the next step is. Exactly.
I'm excited.
And just trust your intuition. Seriously, all right.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, bye, Tone. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.